What's up, family? Homeboy Preach back at it again, man, on a late night. 2 whoops and 2 scoops of greatness as usual, man. Take 1 scoop, take another, you mix that shit up, and man, you get the full fucking kabang. Anyways, man, I'm back, man. It's late night. I said, you know what? I wasn't gonna do a video today, but I'm like, you know what? We're gonna do a video today. You like that? I wasn't gonna do a video, but I'm like, you know what, man? I don't do a fucking video today, man. Okay? And I'll tell you what we're gonna do it on today, okay? You with me? All right, check it out, man. So we went ahead and continued on from a couple albums that I previewed. A lot of underground dope, you know, just classics I grew up on, man. And I actually come across this album. I knew about it, and I mean, this is stuff that I listened to back in the day, but I had to revisit it, man, because I was thinking to myself, I'm like, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, man. How I got into the family, and I don't think I ever mentioned this in any of my videos, in any interview or anything, and I feel like it's appropriate to really talk about it, man. I grew up with my best friends, John and Brian, you know what I'm saying? My homeboy Brian, you know what I'm saying? A lot of you guys may know him as Chops, Murder Chops, the dopest, you know what I mean? He was a great storyteller, my brother forever, you know what I mean? Wet Gremlin. And it's because of Chops and John that I really got hip to the family, man, because I used to walk across the street. Like when we moved to the United States, you know, I really didn't know the language. I didn't know how to communicate and interact. So what they used to do, and my mom used to, you know, I remember they used to throw rocks at the window and stuff, right? They used to throw rocks, you know, kids, man, we were 6, 7 years old. They used to throw rocks at the window to get me to, like, you know, to get my attention and be like, come outside and come play. So other than that, we clicked, man. And then when we got a little older, I want to say it was like 12, 13, back in like 1994, I remember watching a box. It was a channel we had. It was called Channel 58, and it was so dope because all the musicians had, everybody had videos on there. Bone Thugs and Harmony. It had alternative genre. Beavis and Butthead was on a box. Everybody had videos, and you could call up and request the videos. Man, even the Bloods and Crips had videos on there, right? So everyone had videos. So I used to call up, I used to watch the box. So I used to call up and order Thuggish Ruggish Bone. When you see the number come across the screen, you knew you paid that 99 cents. You know, you see the video come up. But anyways, that's where actually I seen, you know, I got introduced to ICP. I think we all got introduced to ICP for the first time, you know, Halls of Illusion. I was right around the re-release of The Great Malenko. But anyways, it's because of John and Chops that I really got introduced to the family, man, because they were like, you know, hardcore into it, and then they got me hip to it because that's all we be bumping for real, you know what I mean? And it was dope, man. It was dope. I really dug it. You know, everything from the Carnival of Carnage, the Ringmaster. I really liked the Forgotten Freshness. You know, more songs than others would stick with me. I thought they were dope. I just thought what ICP represented was so dope to me, and how they were so self-made and independent, man. They were really balls to the wall, jumping out in vans, boom, boom. Let's throw the dart at the wall. This is where we're going. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's a story that what those guys did is fucking inspirational. You know, and it's inspirational to a lot of artists that followed that same blueprint, in my opinion. You know, there's a lot of artists, you know, major artists nowadays that follow that blueprint, that still follow that blueprint because they were independent, man. They were doing it all in-house. They set that fucking tone, you know. But anyways, not to get off track, man, as I was revisiting a lot of the songs and listening to them, because you guys got to remember one thing. I have to remind myself this too. It's interesting, and I don't want to get into a spiel about like, oh, learning a language, but it was very interesting for me because back then, I was learning the difference. You know what I mean? Like I was learning words. I didn't understand what certain words meant, but I understood rhythm. You know, like when I was younger, for example, check this shit out. You guys are gonna die, man, laughing and shit. They said, I used to call you, I'd be pointing up at the clouds. I'd be like, oh, look at the clowns. So I'd like mix the words. I'd be like, clowns, clouds. I didn't really, you know what I mean? Because you're learning as a kid. You pick up on a language, you know, because you're bullshitting, kicking it, playing hide and go seek. That's how I learned how to speak English. Now, I was in ESL class. I think that helped, obviously, because we're doing grammar and we're doing repetitive phrases and redundancy and teaching and shit like that. Even though I remember my 3rd grade teacher, that just struck a nerve. Miss Troy, that was her name. She could fuck off. She told my mom that she said I wasn't developing fast enough. Your son is autistic or he's got problems and maybe a little ADD, as any young boy has ADD, you know what I'm saying? I was active. I was fucking doing kung fu in the yard with the Vietnamese kids and shit like that. But I remember her, Miss Troya, man. I don't know what happened to her, but I'll never forget that. But anyways, as I was saying, I was learning. You know, I was in ESL class. I was enrolled in English as a second language. So a lot of this stuff I was going back and revisiting. I'm like, damn, now that you're older, you understand what things mean. Same thing with watching a movie. Back then it was funny. It was funny as fuck because of what they were doing and what they were saying. But now when you get older, you see the sexual innuendos and all that. You get it now, you know what I mean? So the same thing with a lot of the albums I went back and revisited, man. I mean, I'm a fan. You know, I've always been a fan. It definitely trickled down and really poured into what we were doing at the time with Gremlins. You know what I mean? With the whole movement at the time. A lot of people don't know that was a former group. We had a rap group. It was me, Chops, and B-Scan. We were Wet Gremlins, man. We were killing shit. But anyways, I'm not here to talk about ESL and all that stuff. I'm here to talk about this project right here. Dark Lotus. Tales from the Lotus Pond, right? This here, my friends, I'm gonna say, man, I went back and revisited everything, and I'm like, bro, this is so crazy to me because we were bumping so much shit back then, and we were bumping so many mixed songs and albums, and you know, I wasn't really putting them in chronological order because we were just bumping them in rotation. Now, Chops and John, they were more structured. You know what I'm saying? They knew to get down. They were like, you know, like I said, I came around, I got hit because I used to walk across the street like I grew up in their house. You know, I mean, they had it all. They had the Nintendo 64s, the you know, the Nintendos, you know what I mean? I used to spend the night. Those were my guys, my brothers, man, my best friends. We used to, we swam in a 4-foot pool. I couldn't even touch the bottom of the pool. So forever shout out to my family, man. John, Brian, their mom and dad were like my second family. I love them to death. And it's because of them I got hip to a lot of it, man. But we came up listening to ICP, you know what I mean? They were definitely, I would say, more of a hardcore. They had more of a hardcore like latch on to the whole Juggalo movement. I was always down with the clown, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. People, are you preach? I don't really see you. Man, I was down with it. Believe me when I tell you. I was more into like the, you know, I don't want to say more into, but I was more like influenced. Damn, I just said I don't want to say more, and I said more. I guess I really went nuts when Bone dropped. I really like that fast rap and the twisters, the crucial conflicts, as you guys know by everything I reviewed. But back to this, man. Look, because we're talking about the Lotus, you know what I'm saying? We're talking about the Dark Lotus. We're talking about some pivotal shit and a shift in time. I want to say this came out right around 2000, 2001. This was the original. Okay, so this was the original with all the members. It was Blaze, ICP, you know what I mean? It was the homie Marz. Shout out to Marz from Chicago, Croatian homeboy, you know what I'm saying? I never met him. He seems like a really cool dude, seems like a solid guy. I just dig the fact that he's from the Balkans. He came over. We kind of have a similar story. We came to the inner city and grew up in this, you know, so-called concrete jungle, and everything the world hit us so fast as we know it. So interesting things about this album, man, but I'm gonna get into that here in a minute. But before I get into all that, I just wanna say from head to toe, this album is dressed in absolute mystic beauty in my eyes, man. I wanna say there's a couple songs on here that I'm not, you know, I don't really, not that I don't care for them, because to each his own. I think everyone has a preference of what they like, but there's some burners on here. And this is a type of album that you really can bump from head to toe, man. When people ask me, like, what's my favorite Joker's card? I like a lot of them, right? Of course, Great Malenko, I would say, is probably my favorite because at the time it's what really hit. But moving back, revisiting, I like songs off of Carnival Carnage. I love the Riddle Box, you know what I mean? Jake and Jekyll Brother, the Amazing Jekyll Brothers, that was dope. All of them, man. I mean, they all went through, you know. But this right here, man, this right here to me was fucking dope. I love this, man. I thought this was an awesome collaboration between everybody from Blaze to Twisted, ICP, Marz. I think they really should have ran with this and kept putting this, they should have kept this going, man. The production was nice. Mike P and Mikey Clark, I think Mikey Clark did about 4 tracks off this album. I went back and revisited, did a little research and stuff, but the production was nice. the production along with the concepts and the mysticism it had, but it was, as these motherfucking kids nowadays say, it's a vibe. It was that vibe. It was it was just something about it, man. When I go back and revisit it, it kind of makes the hairs on my, on my skin rise a bit, man. Songs like Alibaba, as my brother Johnny C was saying, that was the introduction. Really the introduction was a song on the Jekyll Brothers album, Echo Side. Echo side, baby, I echo. Sound like a bunch of kids holding hands doing a fucking seance, and I don't know, man. But that was how they really introduced it. And that was my homie Johnny C really broke it down to me, because he said, P.R.E.A.C.H, that was really the official launch of it, because I guess Jay decided he wanted to put it on the Jekyll Brothers album, to introduce the Lotus as a whole. And then they bounced into this and put this solid piece of work together. In my opinion, man, this is solid. Now, I know there was a re-release of this about 2 years later, where some things happened, between, I guess, Psychopathic and Marz. They kind of, went their separate ways. And then they, ABK replaced a lot of, I think he pretty much replaced all of Marz verses. But I like the original, man, because I feel like it was something that you could tell they were really experimenting with. But I think I think it really worked for him, in my opinion. I could see where a lot of people were like, man, it was experimental, but I like it. It worked. The production alone, again, I'm a big fan of the production, man. One of my favorite songs is Headache on here. Man, I really like it all, We danced, digging up cemetery dead girls and stuff. I like that, man. The beat was beautiful. Sexy, that was my joint. I was telling Johnny C, that's my joint. I'm sexy. Dun, dun, dun. Hey, man, somebody played that at the Gathering for me this year, 2019. Somebody played that for me. I want to dance, and I don't know, man. I just want to dance, man. I want to dance. I want to see everybody dancing. And another one I really love, man. What's the one? I cut the head off the devil and I throw it at you. I can't think right now. It's like, I don't even know what time it is at night. But there was, like I said, man, this album goes. The production is nice. Other than that, man, there's a couple things on here, obviously, that, behind this album, it was really thought out. The Dark Lotus was really thought out, because you could tell, in my opinion, it mixes spiritualism with the sense of really spiritualism, More so than like saying, like, what good is your religion if you run to it only in a time of need? It's deeper than that, man. It really is deeper than that. So this is very interesting, because from what I gather, I don't think anyone has ever been able to decipher and crack this code, right? The hieroglyphics is what it looks like to me, some sort of ancient Egyptian, some sort of symbolic hieroglyphic writing that I have no idea what the F it means. I'm sure it means something very significant, because if I'm not mistaken, on the newer release where Marz wasn't a part of it anymore, they switched it up and it was different. It was a different message. I don't know, for all we know, it could mean God is great, be awesome. I'm sure it's something along the lines of stay true to you type shit. If it was my album, my phrase would have been, this would have said all for one, one for all. You know what I mean? Or it says stay true to you. That would have been my message. For all we know, it could be something like we're all as one, or fucking make sure you fucking, I don't know, keep drinking milk. That was the message on the CD. So this is cool, man. The artwork is nice. It's elegant. It's mystic. The cross is on there. It symbolizes. I don't know. Maybe it symbolizes truth, man. Maybe it symbolizes unity. What does the Dark Lotus mean to you? You know what I mean? Obviously, it's really really mystic, because on the inside of this CD, man, if you guys take the CD out, right, there's actually a seance. So you take the CD out, and there's a seance. So you read it, it tells you how to do the seance. Now, I'm not word for word. I'd have to reread it again, but I know you gotta pull a chair up and make sure you cover the door. I'm not doing it, that's for damn sure. I'm not fucking with no ghosts. you motherfuckers go right ahead. Go ahead, do some edibles while you're at it too. Shit, I'm not fucking with the ghosts. I respect the dead. I believe in the spirit world, man. I really do. Energy never dies. In the words of Pharrell Williams himself, no one ever really dies. Nerd. Anyway, but we're not talking about Pharrell. We're talking about the Dark Lotus, man. Again, this is a classic album, and it was very pivotal. And I actually, looking back at it and going back and listening to it more and more, man, I really gained some inspiration off of it. And I'm a big fan, again, of the production. Mike P did his fucking thing on here. Mikey Clark also did his thing on here. I'd have to go back and see who produced what. I know Mike P produced the majority of it, and Mikey Clark, I think, produced like 4 or 5 tracks off of it. But overall, it's solid, and I'm really digging the fact how they left that blank. Well, what would have really been cool is if, you know, you turn a blue light on or something, you have to see it with a blue light. But actually, this is probably even better because you can't see anything, you know what I mean? So, like, what are the names of the songs? I guess, you know, I think they officially put out the names of the songs. Obviously, on YouTube, you can see that they, you know, put a list. But, yeah, man. So this is one of my favorite projects, and that I want to say Psychopathic ever put out. I just think it's solid, you know what I mean? Like Forgotten Freshness, that's another one I love, because it's more like a compilation. This was dope. They should have stuck with this. I mean, everybody shined on it, man. Twisted definitely shined. I'm gonna be honest. Blaze did his thing. ICP did their thing, but Twisted, man, they really shined on it. And that's keeping it real. That's my opinion. You know what I mean? So I really dig it, man. I went back and revisited it, like I said, and it's been stuck in my head. A couple songs been stuck in my head, and I'm gonna keep jamming it, man, because it's good to get reintroduced. You know, you should get reintroduced to music, man. Because at a point in time, it shapes a portion of your life. You know what I mean? You do certain things because of the inspiration you gain from a certain song. It's true. You know what I mean? Because music is the most powerful. We know that, and that's what I think they were trying to do. They were trying to conjure up that power of music. You know. But I think it was interesting, man. You know, with the cloaks and everything, it was real, like, symbolic is the word best used. This is symbolic. You know, I mean, I don't know if it meant to be, you know, more religious or spiritual. I think it's very symbolic, and it has to do with more spiritualism and digging deep within yourself. Because certain songs, you know what they're talking about, certain things, man. I think it's just deep on all levels, like, but it also allows you to interpret, kind of have your own interpretation of what you hear. But really, man, that's about it. I don't want to say too much about it. I'd rather have you guys bump it, you know, give me your opinions on it, and anything I might have left off, feel free to enlighten me, man, because I'm like a sponge. I'm soaking it in, you know. So, and plus it's like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. I'm getting kind of old, motherfuckers. I'm just joking. Man, I do this shit nightly, but today my brains feel like this. But yeah, man, it's always a pleasure bringing you guys some jewels, man, that I really dig back and look at, and I keep in my collection. So this is definitely one of them. Like I said, we're gonna keep it going, man. Stay tuned for the next episode. Make sure you guys subscribe and keep supporting my family, Whoop ×2. I'm so honored that they reached out to me and said, Preach, man, we want you to be a part of the channel. I mean, shit, man, we've been down forever, and you know, help us help you. You know what I mean? So I'm like, that's dope, man. You know, let's do it, man. All for one for all. Isn't that what family is about? Like I said, another message to the person that was like, you ain't a juggler, why? I've been down with the clown forever. Come on now, but we ain't even touching on that. You know why? Because it's positive vibes. You know why? Because I'm here to talk about greatness, man. We're not entertaining none of that shit, because we know who we are at the end of the day. And as long as you're not afraid to be yourself, who gives a fuck what you look like, smell like, dress like, walk like? Keep it righteous right there, man. And you're good. You know what I mean? Be respectful, fuckers. All right? Hit that subscribe button. Whoop ×2. All for one for all. Preach. Me, you, hi, how you doing? Let's get it, man. Stay true to you is my favorite phrase. Apply it in your life. Sit back and be amazed. Whoop, whoop. Love you fuckers. Check out my channel too, man. P.R.E.A.C.H. Let's get the numbers up.